The people of Wa, they are very hospitable.
Okay.
They are very, very hospitable. And then that's one of our trademarks. Wala people, we love people, especially we love strangers.
Like me. You reached
Yeah,
out to me.
sincerely.
Hello, this is Chris Magnuson with Streetview Vagabond, and talking to strangers is what I do. I explore the world on Streetview, get to know a place, and the pictures are grainy, the faces are blurry, but the memories last a lifetime. And the reason why they last a lifetime is because I reach out to folks that live in those places and have conversations, like Mohammed. So today I'm going to be talking to Mohammed in Wa, Ghana, which is in the northwest corner of the country. And this is not the first time I've done a video on Wa, Ghana. This is the third video in a series. I spoke to Habiba a couple of times about her experience in education and growing up in Wa, as well as ate at an African restaurant in Silver Spring, Maryland, that serves Ghanaian food. So I was able to taste some of them too. So if you want to check out those videos, those links are down below. But let's get started in learning a little bit more about Wa from Mohammed's perspective.
Mohammed, it's such a pleasure to meet you. Thanks so much for agreeing to this conversation. You not only were born and raised in Wa, but you had a great website, which is how I found you. It was the Kingdom of Wa, in which you are writing specifically about some of the traditional mosques that were built. So I'm curious to learn a little bit about what your hopes were with that and a little bit about what you were writing about.
Thank you very much for hosting me. And it's a great opportunity to share my little town to the world. I've realized that there are several opportunities or tourist sites in traditional our traditional and culture. Some of them are not being put out to the public to know. They don't know the uniqueness of some of our tourist sites. There are several places people don't know of. Ferguson tomb. He's one of the slave merchant in the northern part of Ghana, and he died in Wa, so he was buried in Wa. So his tomb is a tourist place. We have the slave defense wall at Tumu. That one is a Sisala part of Wa. And then the first president from Upper West, Helia Leman, he was a former president of Ghana in the Third Republic. Mm-hmm. So we have his tomb. History is from the Gulu side. Now, Kori Mosque too is one of the unique architectural buildings in Wa, but people don't know of it. But people always put much emphasis on the Larabanga Mosque to be one of the oldest mosques in the northern part of Ghana. And we have the Dondoli Mosque. Dondoli Mosque too is one of the mosques people don't know of it. It's abandoned. But within our locality, people didn't know that we have such mosques. If we go to Wa and ask some few individuals, they don't know. That Dondoli Mosque, the Nakori Mosque, and the Larabanga Mosque, they share the same similarities. The same structural definition. If you look at how they are structured, they are the same thing. But Larabanga Mosque is more celebrated, and many people visit the Larabanga Mosque more than the Nakori Mosque and the Dondoli Mosque.
Right. So tell me about the Dondole Mosque.
The Dondoli Mosque too is one of our ancestral mosques. Dondoli is a suburb in Wa, where it's occupied by one clan of the Lemanye race. They are the spiritual leaders of Wa. So about 500 years ago, when our ancestors came, these are one of the mosques built at various localities. It's one of the 9 mosques, mud houses, still remaining in Ghana. It's designed with mud and wooden branches of a tree. So it's just like the Sudanese style of mosque. How it's constructed is they will mount the trees at the corners, like in a 4 square. So, and they'll float it with smaller branches of tree, red mud on it, and they'll build the walls on it. And they'll construct pillars, ones that will narrow to the top.
So you're saying it narrows to the top here?
These are the pillars. These are the things that braces the roof. Because if you go inside, you see that they have mounted the poles at the 4 corners. Then they'll use some of the trees to float and put the mud on top. So if you climb top, you see that it's a flat ground.
All right. So like you're saying, so this is one of the 9 remaining
mosques. But this one is not in a good condition. So if you look at my blog, I said it's abandoned Dondoli Mosque because it has been abandoned. And such places, we can renovate it, and then it can be a tourist site for people to come and see. This Nakore Mosques. Nakore Mosques, they still worship inside. Some of them, they still worship inside
Okay.
the Nakore Mosque. So that's why they are able to maintain it. If you look at Nakore Mosque, it still look attractive.
If the Dondole Mosque was being renovated or kind of preserved, would it be painted white as well?
Yeah, it will be painted white.
Okay.
Because that's our traditional color. If you look at our Wa Naa Palace, you see that it has painted white and black. So that's our traditional color.
Like you said, you have a blog about the abandoned mosques here, and you are working on trying to, are you actively working to try to help preserve this mosque?
I'm trying, but I think how our society is, if you don't make an effort, people will not come out.
Okay.
And because right now, to fraud related issues on internet, sourcing foreign funds to renovate it. Sometimes people would think you are trying to use it as a basis, rob people off. So I'm trying to see my small capacity. If I start something in other mosques, I can use it to raise funds because people have seen your work and they believe in you. But if you haven't done anything and you just go to the internet, go to people, prominent people for it, they would think you want to deceive them and take money or stuff.
Well,
So
maybe also, is there possibility of getting like a World Heritage kind of organization involved too?
organization involved in Ghana here, we don't have organization that fund historical places. And then in Ghana here, the agency that's supposed to be responsible would have been Ghana Tourist Board. But that one, I don't want to go there because that one is political. But such places supposed to be for the Ghana Tourism Board to come out, identify some tourist sites, and then fund it and put it in a good shape. But we, the indigenous, supposed to do something. The indigenous too. And then because locality is a low income, the only way this place can come into shape is maybe community mobilization.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
Then people because of this, they see it to be just a normal structure, but they don't know it has a potential tourist this thing for the community.
So it looks like the Dondole Mosque is a work in progress and needs some work in order to make it into a tourist destination. But the Wa Naa Palace is definitely worth checking out.
The Wa Naa Palace, as per my research, is a Sudanese architectural structure that was built over 500 years ago. Okay, but it went through several reforms. So currently, per my research, the Wa Naa Palace is one of the left structures in the sub-Saharan Africa. Though Mali is for instance, our Wala people, that's the tribe in Wa are called Wala. They originated from Mali. So such building can be found in Mali and Sudan areas. If you look at the top side, they'll mold it in a triangular. Sometimes they'll create holes on it. And that time they say they use it palace guard. That's where they'll be on to protect the palace against any enemy. So that's where the warriors sometimes hide to protect the chiefs. They are our intelligence officers, so they'll be there monitoring what is going on. So if we're an enemy who is coming, they can use the bow and arrow to get you down, or they can signal for them to get you arrested.
So that's kind of like a walled palace, right? So you've got
yeah. It's like a shell, like a whole shell.
Over 500. For 500 years, what's the lineage in terms of like who's the leader that's living in this palace, and how is that being passed, or changed over those 500 years?
Okay, what traditional authority? I'll use Wa. In Wa, we have several tribes. We have the Wales, we have the Dagatis, we have the Sisales, we have the Lobis. But on the majority of people, settlers at Wa are the Wales.
Okay.
So the Wa Naa Palace is occupied by the overlord of Wa, who is the Wa Naa.
So that's their title, Wa Naa?
Wa Naa, yes. The Wa Naa is the title. Our traditional head. We have several powers of authorities. We have the Nayires, that's the royals. We have the Limayires, they are the spiritual group. And we have the Tindambes. The Tindambes are the landowners of the Wala kingdom. And we have the Yerina. The Yerina are the people who make the king, like they are the king makers. The Limayire is where I'm coming from. The Limayires originated from Mali. So when they were migrating, they migrated and brought the Islamic religion. to settle in Wa. So spiritually, we are the spiritual heads of the Wala kingdom. Our original chief imam, that institution was there before recently Ghana normalized or institutionalized a Islamic institution where every region is supposed to have a chief imam. The imam, he leads prayers. If there's something anarchy in the land, they are the people who come out and pray over it. A chief imam is chosen within a client because it's a traditional authority.
What's the relationship between the chief imam now and the Wa Naa? They're not.
They have a good relationship because when our late chief imam 4 years ago passed on, there is the Wa Naa who coordinates the chief imam. In Ghana here, chiefs don't supposed to be in politics. The chieftaincy institution that is headed by the National House of Chiefs. So at each region, we have the group of chiefs who comes together to form the regional House of Chiefs. So under the regional House of Chiefs, we have a sectional heads. For instance, the Wala community, we have the overlord of the Wa who is the Wa Naa. If you go to the Nandong area or the Dagatin area, they have several chiefs under it. The Sisala too, they have also their overlord there. All these groups or all these tribes comes together to form the regional House of Chiefs. And then because of political power, politicians will always run to them. But they don't engage themselves in politics. They always receive every political party that comes in. A chief involving himself in politics would be terrible, or it will bring the image of the community or the tribe down. So
that makes sense.
Chiefs don't involve themselves into politics.
That's really interesting because it's almost like the Wa Naa or the chief has kind of almost like a kind of moral leadership or kind of like community leadership. Doesn't want to get in the dirty game of politics.
Yes.
But they still lead the community. What are they in control of in terms of like how are they leading the community? Because the imam, the spiritual side, right?
Yes.
The Wa Naa isn't really a spiritual leader, but they're not in politics, so they're not looking at the specific laws of the city of Wa.
Okay, first, right now, we have the political institutions. It has limited the powers of the Wa Naa. Previously, in the past, the Wa Naa was the authority. He has the authority, the power to summon, punish, to vanish people from the land. And then land administration, supervising other sub-chiefs and coordinating with other in developmental related issue. But right now, because we have the political institutions, their powers has been limited. So their powers is just to be a traditional head. If there's any ceremony, we have annual ceremony, foreign delegation or political delegation want to visit Wa, they'll first visit them. So their powers has been limited.
So the Wa Naa's powers may be limited at this time, but he still plays a leadership role, and that becomes evident in the Dumba Festival that happens every year.
This Dumba Festival is a day we used to mark the birth of Prophet Muhammad, and also it's a traditional festival for our royals to celebrate. Our chiefs come out, perform their rituals, and one of these rituals will be they will lay a cow flat on the ground, and the chief will jump over the cow. And we have a belief that if the chief is jumping and his trousers touches the cow, the next celebration will not reach him. When the chief is able to jump it without not touching it, it's a celebration for us.
This is the Wa Naa that's jumping, right?
Yeah, that's the Wa Naa who jumps. That's the overlord of the Wala kingdom. So right now, specifically, as far as the Dumba Festival is celebrated by all Northerners, mostly the northern part of Ghana, that's the northern region, the Savannah, the Upper West, and the Upper East. Me, I'm from the Upper West side. And the Upper West side, the Wala people celebrate Dumba because the Wala people are predominantly Muslim society. About 80 to 90% of Wala people are Muslims. Because Wala people, when they came with religion. So all our culture and our beliefs go around Islamic culture.
And in your memory, is it pretty common that the Wa Naa is successful in jumping over the cow, or are there a few years where his trousers actually do touch the cow?
Okay, recent times we have never heard of Wa Naa unable to jump it. Because when he's jumping it, there are people will guide him to help him to jump.
Uh-huh.
I remember some years back, our Wa Naa was not strong enough. He was not feeling well. There are some people who helped him to jump it. But in the past, I don't know. I haven't heard of story of Wa Naa unable to jump.
Right, because that would be a bad sign.
It will be a bad sign. It will be a bad sign. We believe that it's a bad sign.
So that's a lot of pressure for the Wa Naa to jump over
It's
the
a pressure. So they dance around it for so many times before they will jump it.
Okay, so if the Wa Naa is successful in jumping over the cow, it's a good year.
Yeah, it's a good year for us. It means that there's no calamity that will fall on us.
All right, so those are some great places to visit and potentially a festival to visit while in Wa, Ghana. There are also music, food, and clothing to check out. So let's see what Mohammed has to say about those three things.
Most of our musicians currently are in the contemporary modern days music, but two key individuals I can use, for example, is Riala. Riala is an Afro-pop musician from Wa. She got the opportunity to participate in a national music contest. She is someone who is projecting our tradition more than the other musicians. Samini too is a local artist, he's an international artist, but most of his music is reggae form of music.
Excellent.
And he has been given a royal title, Biblina.
And what does that mean?
That's a children's chief. But though I will celebrate him too. So they are the key people I would like to celebrate. They are putting our kingdom to the world. Northern part of Ghana, the most common food we take is tuzafi, that's TZ. But we in our language we call it sao. And then apart from the food, we have another one too. We have tumpani with oil to do it. But recently, modernization has chipped in, so they modernize the way and add some spice to it. I didn't tell you about our smoke. That's what we wear, and you can see it on the internet. That's what, and right now even government appointees wear it everywhere, even on international trip, on national assignment and stuff. That's one of our wares.
What is that mainly? What is it made of?
It's made of cotton wool. It's handmade. It's a handmade. So the weavers will dye it in different colors, and then they wave it. So when they wave it in the cloth style.
Right.
So and they'll give it to people who are specialized in sewing it. So my own like this is a hand sew. So they'll use their hand with thread and sew it.
Nice. It looks great. Looks very comfortable too.
My favorite aspect of culture in Wa, Ghana that Mohammed shared with me was his family structure, which I'm not really quite sure I fully understand, but it's definitely enjoyable to listen to him and explain it and see what you think.
The Wala community is interrelated, and we have done intermarriages. Maybe you can go and meet someone who is just related to you by blood. For example, my mom, my grandmother, where my grandmother came from, my dad's mom.
Okay.
That's where my mom is coming from. So they intermarry. So it means that even if my dad didn't marry my mom, and if my mom has married to a different person, my dad will be a relative to me.
Okay.
Right. Because my grandmom is like a sister to me. Right. So my mom is an auntie to my grandmom.
Okay.
So my dad, if you go to that community, my dad will call me uncle. That's how we are.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. Consider your grandma your sister.
My grandma is my sister. Yes. Hold on, please. Give me a minute. Come on, like 30 minutes, yeah. Zoom meeting. So like 30 minutes. Zoom meeting. 30 minutes. I'll be 10 minutes later. Okay. Sorry.
No worries.
Have you seen? He's my grandfather.
Oh, really? Or is he your uncle?
Very young, but he's my grandfather. So that's how our tradition is. You can go and meet and even some of the unborn children are our grandfathers.
Wow. Okay.
So that's the uniqueness of our culture. So if you go to Wa, we have a term we always use, Tijabunyin. which means that we are all one.
Okay, how do you say that again?
Tija bunyin.
Tijabuyen.
Tija bunyin.
You said that means we are all one.
We are all one.
What language is that?
It's Wale.
Wale.
Wale, yeah.
Wale.
Tijabuyen is a great way to end this video. We are all one, and it's been a fantastic time to have a conversation with Mohammed, learn a little bit more about the culture in Wa, Ghana, and expand our minds. So thanks for watching.
Mohammed, it was a pleasure speaking to you today, learning so much more about Wa, sharing your culture, your food, your music. And I think I hear, was that a rooster calling?
Oh, this our, I don't know, the cock, I don't know. Even at midnight, sometimes it will crow. I don't know where. So
it crows all day long.
If there's abnormalities within it, so I don't know what is wrong with.
All right. Well, you can go find out what's going on with your rooster.
He will find his own solution.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, Mohammed, it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much for taking your time today. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Appreciate
Bye.
it. Have a good one. Bye-bye.